She said it casually, almost like she was reading from a script she had practiced for weeks. "We're done," she said, her tone flat, detached, as if the words themselves could erase months of shared history, laughter, and late-night secrets. I stared at her for a moment, feeling the room shrink around me. Everything we had built, every plan, every inside joke, every promise, it all hung in the air, fragile, suspended. For a split second, I wanted to argue, to beg, to convince her that this was a mistake, that the love we had, however messy, was worth fighting for. Then I realized something important. I didn't need to say a word. Not then. Not at all. I turned and walked away. Slow, deliberate steps. Not angry, not resentful. Just moving forward, out of the room, out of the apartment, and away from the weight of her decision. She froze. Shock registered on her face. She hadn't expected this. She had expected tears, screaming, desperation, something to affirm her power over me. But I gave her none of it. I didn't look back. I didn't explain. I didn't give her the satisfaction of a reaction. Silence became my weapon, my shield, my declaration. Days passed. She called, she texted. She showed up at places she knew I would be. Each time I maintained the same calm, quiet distance. I didn't chase. I didn't reply immediately. I simply existed on my own terms. And that's when I noticed the change. Not in me. I already knew who I was. But in her. She started to panic. Subtly at first. Then more visibly. The casual confidence she had displayed when she said, "We're done," began to crack. She wasn't used to resistance. She wasn't used to someone walking away without argument or drama. She tried everything. Calling mutual friends, sending messages filled with guilt, reminders of shared memories, promises of change. Nothing worked. I wasn't the person she could control anymore. One evening, she finally confronted me in person. I had chosen a neutral place, a quiet park, the kind where no one else could overhear. She approached slowly, words faltering, trying to measure how much control she could regain. I didn't mean it," she stammered. "I didn't really think you'd just leave." I looked at her steadily. "I didn't need to. Walking away says more than any argument ever could." Her eyes widened. "But I thought you'd fight for us. I thought you'd—" "Fight for us?" I interrupted gently. "You already decided that us didn't matter. I'm not here to fight for someone who has already given up. I'm here to fight for myself, my peace, and my dignity." Her breath caught. She hadn't expected these words. She hadn't expected calm, measured clarity. She had expected chaos, tears, maybe even rage. And when she saw none of it, when she realized that walking away had removed her power over me, she panicked. I wasn't ready," she admitted finally, her voice breaking. I thought I wanted this. But seeing you go, it made me realize I'm not ready to lose you." I nodded slowly. "And now you see the truth. That actions speak louder than words. That once someone decides to walk away, silence can be louder than any plea." We stood there for a long moment, the park quiet around us. I could feel the weight of months of unresolved tension, miscommunication, and emotional distance. But I also felt something else. Freedom. Freedom from chasing approval. Freedom from justifying myself. Freedom from someone else's indecision. She wanted answers, explanations, confessions. I gave her none. Not because I was cruel, but because I understood something she had not. The moment you allow someone else's choices to dictate your peace, you surrender yourself. I refused to surrender. Eventually, she left. Not angrily, not silently, just retreating into the space she had created for herself, realizing finally that my absence was not a threat. It was a mirror, a reflection of what she had almost destroyed by her words. I walked home alone that evening, the city quiet around me, and felt lighter than I had in months. I realized that sometimes walking away isn't about giving up. It's about teaching someone, without saying a word, that your value isn't negotiable. That love isn't about clinging to someone who has already chosen to leave. Weeks later, she tried to reach out again, but the dynamic had shifted completely. I was no longer reactive, no longer vulnerable to her whims. I had learned that true power lies in detachment, in quiet confidence, in walking away when the moment demands it. She wasn't ready the day she said, "We're done." And that's why I walked away. Not because I wanted to punish her, not because I wanted revenge, but because I finally understood the kind of respect and peace I deserved, and that some lessons can only be learned through absence, silence, and self-respect. And in walking away, I didn't just leave her stunned. I reclaimed my life.